Hello, I'm Dougal Hewitt, Chief Mission and Sponsorship Officer. Welcome everyone to the Rays of Light Gala. In this program, we'll celebrate the 17 recipients of the Values in Action Award and commemorate the 5th anniversary of Providence Health and Services and St. Joseph Health coming together. This celebration is about the strong foundation we've created together. Even during this pandemic, we never wavered from the mission and our core values. Truly a testament to our dedicated caregivers. We have a great show for you. You'll hear from Providence leaders and see video debuts of the honorees that are sure to inspire. So to get us started, I'd like to introduce our President and CEO, Dr. Rod Hochman.
Thank you for joining us on this very special day. Today, we celebrate our Values in Action Award recipients. These awards are rooted in the St. Joseph Health heritage. And today, they become an annual tradition across our entire family of organizations. They are the highest honor we give out each year. To this year's class of recipients, thank you for an incredible example of what it means to live our values. Your leadership, especially during the pandemic, set the tone for all of us. Thank you for leading with love and for all you do to be of service to others. Today, we're also celebrating another important occasion. Believe it or not, 5 years ago this month, Providence and St. Joseph Health joined to form one family. Today, as a family of 120,000 caregivers serving 5 million patients per year in 52 hospitals, more than 1,000 clinics, and hundreds of programs and services across the 7 states. And together, we provide an outstanding $1.6 billion per year in uncompensated care and other community benefit. By operating as one organization, we're better positioned to respond to the pandemic than if we were still on our own. That's why you could say it was providential that we could be the first to admit a patient with COVID-19 in the United States back in January of 2020. Because we were so tightly integrated, we were able to quickly put our entire organization on high alert, rapidly share resources, best practices, and innovation across 7 states. We came together because we knew we could serve our communities better together than we could on our own. Our first order of business together was investing $130 million to establish the Wellbeing Trust, a foundation dedicated to advancing the mental health and well-being of the nation. Again, I believe this was providential because the Wellbeing Trust has been instrumental in raising the flag and shaping policy to address the mental health crisis that has accompanied the pandemic. The Wellbeing Trust recognizes the mental health impact of COVID-19 very early on and quickly led national research showing that deaths of despair due to drug overdose, alcoholism, and suicide were on the rise and on a trajectory to worsen during the pandemic. They also quickly studied the impact on children and on teenagers and developed guidance and support to help families navigate the mental health resources available for children. In our own communities, I'm proud to say that at the height of the pandemic, we opened up a 93-bed mental health and wellness campus in Orange, California. This work is part of the Be Well OC, which is a public-private partnership with other organizations and social service agencies. I'm also incredibly proud of the behavioral health support we provided to rural communities. We created a network of psychiatrists and social workers to bring behavioral health services to 36 ministries that previously did not have access to these resources. What worries me most is the mental health and well-being of our caregivers. Serving on the front lines, seeing tremendous loss of life due to COVID-19 has taken its toll on many of our caregivers. That's why we're offering a number of free resources to support our caregivers with stress, anxiety, and depression. Our No One Cares Alone program and My Mental Health Matters are two examples of how we are reaching out and checking in on every core leader and caregiver across our system. I personally encourage all our caregivers to take advantage of these resources. We do so much to help others. It's time to put our own healing first. I want to close by thanking everyone who has helped us serve our communities over the past 5 years, and especially during the pandemic. The past year and a half has been the most challenging of our careers. But together, I believe the future is bright.
Greetings. My name is Sister Jane Hemlinger, and I'm the General Superior of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Orange. Please know that all our sisters pray in deep gratitude for each of you and all who are a part of Providence St. Joseph and who enable the healing ministry of Jesus to flourish. It is with great joy that I join with you to celebrate the values in action and the 5th anniversary of our coming together to form Providence St. Joseph. Our celebration, Rays of Light's Values in Action, attests to the deep-rooted values in each of you, whom we will recognize as the recipients of these awards. Your embodiment of these values models for others how to bring your best self to your work every day. When I think about each of you, I'm reminded about something Albert Einstein once said: strive not to be a success, but to be of value. Each of you have certainly integrated the values into your way of being, and your peers have recognized this in you. Take a moment and let this moment wash over you and embrace this recognition as a thank you to each of you for your commitment to our mission, vision, values, and promise as the community of Providence St. Joseph. It is my privilege and honor to begin our celebration with an opening prayer. Let us pray. Creator God, we've come together to form Providence St. Joseph as an expression of your healing love. We pray in thanksgiving for each recipient of the Values in Action Awards, for their courage and bold faith to live our values day by day, choice by choice, and decision by decision. They allow themselves to be your instruments of compassion, dignity, justice, excellence, and integrity. Each day, these men and women seize the opportunity to touch the lives of the people they encounter. Together with their peers, these Values in Action recipients help to shape an environment where love, compassion, caring, excellence, kindness, and inclusivity are the norm. We pray in gratitude for everyone within Providence St. Joseph who continues to treat those impacted by the ravages of this current and horrific pandemic. The personal sacrifice and courage you embody are not lost on the rest of us who benefit from your professional and compassionate care. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in God, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. May the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, guard your hearts and minds and empower you to continue the good works of your ministry within Providence St. Joseph. May the joy of fully living and embracing who God created you to be continue to inspire and direct your lives. And may you know, especially in this present moment, that you are a gift to each of us and all with whom you live and work. In love and gratitude, we pray. Amen.
With Yemi being an attorney, she's not only gives us legal advice, but she understands the need for the partnership and understands what our goals are from a business perspective. She's very collaborative and just a great partner too. And she helps us think things through and problem solve and create solutions that work for both parties. Every transaction that we do, it always has our communities at the forefront and improving access. I think it's core to the work that we do to make sure that we're exemplifying the values and making sure that we are working with what we call like-minded partners. In the recent transactions that I was able to work with her on, she was able to bring us together through her language, through her demeanor, and I think everyone just respected that, and it made things really flow. So Yemi, it was awesome working with you last summer, and I can't wait to work with you again on future transactions.
Recently, in the last year or so, there's been such a focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and Cheryl has been front and center in that work. And so she has become this cornerstone, this rock, this foundation of being kind of a guiding light into how we should be interacting, how we should be talking about social injustices and inequities. The thing that really drew me into Cheryl, and I think draws everybody into Cheryl, is just her essence and her presence. She has this warmth and this inviting tone. And one of those great ideas that she had was, we have technology in our workplace, computers and laptops that are still in fantastic condition, but aren't used anymore by our caregivers. Cheryl is taking lead of collecting surplus laptops and computers and then working with different community organizations to share those out and provide those for those in need. Cheryl, to me, truly is a servant leader within Providence. And that's where Cheryl really thrives, is being that servant, humble leader that we can all go to and find guidance in and find kind of solace in her presence, which makes her a really remarkable individual.
Hello, I'm Dr. Rhonda Meadows, President of Providence Population Health Management. Our work with you is focused in 4 areas. The first is improving health services like care management, health equity, Medicaid, and mental health. The second is our success in value-based care and strategic payer partnerships. The third is in the delivery of the best in health benefits administration and services through Providence Health Plans. And fourth is home and community care and championing whole person care. The Values in Action Awards are a great honor we give out every year, but this year, of all years, it takes on even more meaning. Congratulations to our 17 Values in Action awardees. You are being recognized today for your outstanding leadership and your commitment to our values during this most challenging year. You inspire us all. I also want to take a moment to celebrate the 5-year anniversary of our Providence and St. Joseph Health family coming together. We joined back in 2016 because we knew we could do more for our communities together than we could separately. Our collective COVID response is a great example of how working in unison, we can make a major difference. We now work together on our road to recovery, and we will thrive. We have made a multi-year commitment and a $50 million investment focused on health equity so that we can ensure that every person has the same opportunity to live their healthiest life possible. We are better together, and that gives us one of many reasons to celebrate. Congratulations again to our Values in Action recipients, and thank you to all our caregivers for all that you do.
Feng as a person is loving, caring. She is full of life, full of love, always wanting to offer help to anybody, kind of the mother of the team. Feng really, by her accuracy and her determination to do good work, she really is the essence of making sure that our caregivers are taken care of and that our members are taken care of. Feng's work in the community is amazing. She volunteers and teaches Sunday school and has been a big supporter in different food banks and charity donation sites all across the area. You know, you get to meet people in your life where you look at them and you think, wow, I mean, they are the whole package. They are everything beautiful and everything that I wish I could be. And I'm so glad that I was able to represent her and bring to light this wonderful, loving person that now we can share with everyone in Providence.
Albert came to this building 20 years ago and couldn't speak English. He came directly from the Philippines to work here at the Mount. Mount St. Vincent is a senior community full of all levels of care. These are very vulnerable adults, and they're at the end of their life, and we want to make it the best of their life while they're here. Albert has developed a natural connection to the people that we serve, and because he was such a consistent leader and such a go-getter and wanted to learn, that look at him today. He's now director of operations for an entire building campus of serving over 400 older adults. So he has food service, laundry, housekeeping, plant operations, the beauty shop, the gift shop, anything that helps support this team to make it run on a 24-hour basis. Albert's perfect for this role because he enjoys people, no matter where they are in their journey, and that means the caregiver as well as the resident that we serve every day. His values are superior, so the mission of serving the poor and the vulnerable is very evident in what he does every day.
Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Compton-Phillips, President of Clinical Care for Providence, and want to start by saying thank you so much to our Values in Action Award winners. You are the best of who we are here within our organization. That said, it's been 5 years, believe it or not, since Providence and St. Joseph came together, really focused on our mission of delivering health for a better world. And what a journey we've had. Everything from caring for not only the first patient, but 150,000 subsequent patients for COVID, having our caregivers, our physicians show up to work every day despite the personal risks, still diving in and helping not only create the care and the compassion, but the science to help take us into the next generation. And doing so in a way that helps support our people past the burnout, past the trauma of living through what we've lived through, and living into our hope of actually helping Providence be the best place to give care and the best place to get care. So I want to thank each and every one of you for doing everything you do day in, day out to build on our history, our legacy of sacred encounters, and moving us forward into the journey we're still going on to create health for a better world. Thank you.
Our aim is to educate our patients on health topics such as diabetes, weight management, also our new program, sleep health, and also diabetes prevention. All of these great programs, such as the food pharmacy program, all of the classes that we have here, they're really a product of when Beth joined FACey about 4 years ago, since we had none of these great programs until she arrived here. All of our group programs are free, so it really does take away the strain of being able to pay for good quality care. And they're offered at this time virtually because of the pandemic, and that just helps us reach a bigger patient population. Another one of the really cool programs Beth has started here was a yoga program for patients with chronic lower back pain. Through Beth's leadership, we've been able to realize these values, and we've been able to continue to provide quality care to patients who need it the most. Beth, we will forever be grateful that you chose to work here at FACey, and thank you for all the really great changes you've done for us.
This was quite an undertaking for the clinic itself. Dr. Wiley became the force in the clinic as we were going through it. And it was really evident, his caring, his compassion, dedication. He really worked at the efficiency of the clinic and worked on making sure we were doing things the right way. He did probably over 15,000 tests himself through this clinic. We hope we saved lives, and that was their ultimate goal, and he was a great service to the community because of it. Just a wonderful guy, and really worried about everybody and trying to save the world, if you will, and the best he could, one patient at a time. Dr. Wiley, I just want to say woohoo for everything you did for this clinic and the community. You're a true blessing and a servant to this ministry.
Revagan is a nurse in a very busy cancer clinic, and that clinic specializes in a type of cancer that unfortunately at this time has no cure. So when she meets with patients and family members, they're getting a diagnosis that is ultimately terminal and will require ongoing medical follow-up for the rest of that person's life. And she's this solid touchstone for those patients and family members. She is such a team player, and she also just executes her work with so much compassion and so much care. Revagan is one of a kind person. She just exudes joy. When you're with her, you have her full attention. She listens carefully, and she just has an endless amount of patience. Not everyone can do great things, but everyone can do small things with great love. And I think that is what Revagan lives out every day. Karen is part of our leadership team on our psycho-oncology team here at Swedish. She's worked directly with patients and caregivers. And then she's gone on to develop a lot of tools and system processes for our team. In our department, in outpatient oncology, social work is utilized as a part of supportive care, as an extra layer of support, where we provide resource navigation and some short-term counseling. Karen cares deeply about the work that she does. When she is with a patient or family member, she gives them their full attention. She wants to make sure that she's addressing their practical needs as well as their emotional needs. And say, I'm here to walk alongside you as we have these conversations and help you decide what works best for you and your family. And she does that in a way that not only patients and family members feel heard, but people on her team feel heard and valued as well.
Greetings to all. My name is Eric Wexler, and I'm the president of Operations and Strategy for the Southern Footprint of Providence. It is a pleasure to be here today to celebrate not only our 5th anniversary in the coming together of Providence and St. Joseph Health, but also our Values in Action Award recipients. When I think back over the past 5 years, I'm filled with pride on how we took the best of both organizations and we put that together into one collective ministry. An example of that is the mission and mentoring program that St. Joseph Health had created that now we're using throughout the entire organization. Or the mission leadership formation program that Providence has had for years, we're using throughout the entire organization. And even our charitable fund program is called the St. Joseph Health Fund. Together, we have made a much better Providence. And I'm so proud of all of you for helping to make that happen. But today, we also celebrate our Values in Action Award recipients. These are the people that I and you look up to for being the best examples of how we lead our organization into the future and how we are mission-oriented in serving the poor and the vulnerable. Congratulations to all.
Humboldt County has a lot of unique challenges. Logistically, we're very remote, so specialized services are oftentimes 4 to 6 hours away. The overall health of our population has some gaps, and our role here as Providence is to look at where those gaps are and try to address them. So we identified a couple different groups. One of them specifically is pelvic floor health. We had our therapist, Allison Craig, come to me and say, I want to become specialized in this area. I want to become the most skilled practitioner so I can help those patients move beyond the chronic pain, move beyond the pelvic floor issues. And she took it upon herself to initiate getting the grant money so she could get the training and the equipment to provide that. She is a healer, and she has a passion for not just taking care of her patients, but looking at the patients out there who aren't being taken care of. She looked for where the need is, and she's figured out how to meet that need for our community. She's a dynamo.
Good evening. My name is Mary Lyons, and I'm honored to be the board chair for Providence St. Joseph Health System. As you know, we're not only honoring the men and women for the Values in Action Award ceremony, but also recognizing the 5th anniversary of the merger between St. Joseph and Providence Health. A very bold and courageous decision made possible, I believe, because of the long history of bold and courageous decisions made by our two sponsoring congregations, the Sisters of St. Joseph and the Sisters of Providence. Because of them, in so many ways, we have become better together. As a member of the system board, in this last year particularly, I've been witness, like all of us, to some of the most important decisions that are also bold and courageous and have eased the way for our patients and our caregivers. Yes, we celebrated a 1 million mask challenge becoming a 100 million mask challenge, and so many other big events throughout this pandemic. Heroic sacrifices, but great results. But as important as these achievements have been, nothing compares to the powerful witness of our large community of caregivers, one by one, nearly now 120,000 strong, who each and every day breathe life into the mission of Providence St. Joseph by extending God's healing touch to our patients, to their families, and to each other. And so we do honor the men and women, individuals tonight, who have been themselves the epitome of example for our mission. But I want to thank all of you for what you are doing constantly to ease the way for our patients. I congratulate you, and I thank you on behalf of the entire board. Good evening.
Michelle is definitely a walking example of value in action in everything she does. And her ability to see beyond the current issue and to try to help make my life a little bit easier. I was born deaf and I lived with other people. But when the mask requirement came along, I realized I could not do my work as a physical therapist. And I told my boss, Michelle, that I didn't think I could work or function as a therapist. And she said to me, not to worry, we'll figure something out.
Let's say, we love you, Susan.
Within a week, she surprised me with a map and a clear panel, enabling me to be able to live with other people, especially my patients.
Susan, just so you know, Michelle made all of these. Thank you so much.
I have so much gratitude for what you've done for me. Your action truly speaks in itself. And thank you, Michelle. I wouldn't be doing this without you.
Colleen was initially an ICU nurse before she came to work with us, but her compassion towards her patients was always evident. We tripled our numbers during COVID. These were all very critical patients, many of them very end of life. Colleen was taking care of a patient. She was quite ill. She was on what we call high flow oxygen, very close to needing to possibly be on a ventilator. The patient was afraid. So Colleen stayed with this patient, held her hand for hours while still in communication with this family. It's just absolutely beautiful to honor what that patient wanted, which was to die in her own home. Her whole family gathered outside of the patient's bedroom, all having candles lit and holding vigil, and Colleen made that possible. Emulating all those core values in front of the other caregivers. That's what we want. We want all of our caregivers to be a Colleen.
Good evening. I'm Deb Canales, Chief Administrative Officer for Providence. The key issues of our times have implications for the health and well-being of all people. During the past 5 years, I've really witnessed inspiring growth across all of our 7 states. I've seen, heard, and felt an opening of hearts and minds illustrated by our visible commitment and intentions to stay in dialogue with one another around really important social justice topics, what our Catholic heritage, the legacy of our founding congregations, calls us to. And a few accomplishments that I'm really proud of these past 5 years include the work we've done in diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the support of our many caregiver resource groups in every region. What we've done to stand up and speak out in support of people who experience oppression and inequities. The work we've done to prioritize our community health, formative service opportunities for our caregivers, and record-setting philanthropic investment back into our communities. The educational opportunities we see through our Providence High School and University of Providence, and of course, the response to the critical needs of people during disasters and wildfires that we saw this past year, as well as the COVID crisis in India. And finally, the governance support that we've seen around our diversity, equity, and inclusion topics and board development. And we really prioritize diversity of thought, experiences, and ideas. So this evening, I'm really honored to congratulate our 2021 Values in Action awardees. Woohoo! I've had the opportunity to read these nominations. Oh my gosh, and they're amazing caregivers. The words speak of behaviors that we aspire to for all of our Providence cultures. And I want to say to each awardee, I feel very blessed to serve alongside you in this work that we do together as Providence. So thank you and congratulations. Woohoo!
This one particular day, we had this elderly patient that had been discharged from the hospital, and our job was to find him transportation to get home. But the problem was that he had COVID. That day, I was so busy trying to find him transportation, and I wasn't able to. Nobody wanted to take him home simply because he had COVID. And of course, he couldn't afford the ambulance ride home. It was going to be, too much money for him. Rachel is one of our nurse managers here at the hospital. She is over our 2nd floor. The nurses told me towards the end of the day that Rachel was going to take him home. She had volunteered to take him home at the end of the day after she finished her shift. And I really think that is very gracious of her because not everybody would do that. She was unselfishly loving and caring. Values in action means more than just doing. It means doing the actions with love. Hey, Rachel, you are the best, and anybody would be proud to have you as their nurse manager.
Providence in Alaska took on the responsibility early in the pandemic to actually stand up and open our very first drive-through testing site here in Anchorage. And Natalie was the first one pulling together the planning group to get that effort launched. In everything she does, she's trying to make Providence a better place. And she's a relentless problem solver. What I love about Natalie and really appreciate about her is the passion and the heart that she brings to her work every day. She's very skilled, not just at recognizing the issues and understanding who the people are, but then actually facilitating a process, getting people in the room, talking them through the issues that need to be solved. So I nominated Natalie because she lives that out, and you can see that in her work every day and her commitment to solving problems and to excellence in all that Providence does.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Vance, President of Strategy and Operations for Providence North. I'm really proud and excited to be here today as we celebrate and honor our 5th anniversary. We have brought our amazing heritage stories together into a system that is a national leader in care and quality. And more important, we have a mission that calls us all to care for the poor and vulnerable. When I think back to our foundresses and founders, I am certain they would be proud. During these past 5 years, we have seen growth in services that we provide to our communities. We've expanded where we provide care, offered new services, and made sure that we do it with excellence. We've focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion for caregivers and partners. We've gone through natural disasters. We're weathering a pandemic, and we're learning from it all. Our focus remains on caring, and we're branching out in other ways to provide care now and in the future. This is critical to keeping people healthy, caring for those who are sick, and ensuring we are reaching even farther into service of our mission. We are an amazing organization, and our caregivers and providers are the heart of all we do. To our 2021 Values in Action and Award winners, congratulations. Thank you for demonstrating our values, for caring, and holding our mission in your hearts.
Jamie came to Providence as a teenager right out of high school to be a resident assistant and be a caregiver. Jamie is a natural born leader and a person who comes with a lot of personal values and a personal mission that has been strongly aligned with her work with Providence. She lives the values, that's who she is as a person, and she tries to instill those values in everybody that she encounters. Jamie sees the dignity and the value in every person, whether that's a caregiver or a patient, and she looks at what that person brings with them to the situation. Jamie really walks the walk. She holds herself accountable, and she holds the mirror up to herself. She leads with her heart. She can be tough as well, but she does definitely lead with her heart.
The Bob program model is really about serving our most poor and vulnerable patients. We have our own model of care, which we run all throughout Oregon. We serve every one of our hospitals in some capacity. There's a lot of suffering out there, and a lot of people need help. That's what the core of our work is: relationship building, support. Tammy works with patients once they discharge from the emergency department. She focuses on working with folks in the community, in homeless camps, shelters, pretty much anything that the person needs. Tammy is amazing. This work is really in her soul. It can be sad, it can be hard, it can be exhausting, but Tammy just does it. Following the mission of Providence is very easy for us. We're doing it every day in the community. That's because we have boots on the ground, like Tammy.
I'm Bill Cox, and as chair of the Providence Sponsors Council, it is my distinct honor and privilege to extend the sponsors' congratulations to our 17 Values in Action Award recipients. We are very proud of you. As you know, the sponsor's primary responsibility is to ensure that our ministry remains faithful to its mission. But this is a responsibility we share with each and every one of you. After all, our sacred mission does not reside solely or even primarily within the Sponsors Council. It resides in the hearts and actions of our caregivers. Jesus Healing Ministry serves as the basis of everything we do. And in this regard, the sponsors are gratified on the 5th anniversary of our coming together that our mission is stronger, more vibrant than ever. So congratulations then to our 17 awardees, and a special note of thanks to all our caregivers. The sponsors cherish each and every one of you. Thank you.
For decades, Paula has been a nurse practitioner with our clinic for those that have suffered sexual assault and abuse. Paula really reflects Mother Gamelin's way of taking a moment of an experience of pain in her own life and finding in that a way to connect with others who are vulnerable and being in a place to help them through her own compassion. Paula is a quiet person, and behind that quiet face is a whole lot of determination and dedication to helping people. She is really getting to some of the most marginalized, vulnerable folks in our community. She saw a need in the community for a transition home for those who were victims of human trafficking and did the work of creating an independent, not-for-profit organization with a board, with a facility and staff and all of the elements that go with that. Paula, you're a gift to Providence, a gift to the community, and your spirit of service.
Nobody was more vulnerable than these COVID patients coming in when we knew so little at the beginning about the disease and they were alone. It was a natural progression for Krista and her team to take those first patients coming in. She's been the program manager of our special pathogens unit for 5 years, training on Ebola. She spent countless hours trying to make sure not only the patients were safe, but that her staff were safe. She was a department of one doing all of this. And not only at Sacred Heart, she was going to outlying facilities, urgent cares, clinics, rural hospitals to help them feel safe as well. I'm very proud of Krista and what she has accomplished and what she has done for Sacred Heart and Providence.
Wow. Wasn't that an amazing illustration of caregivers who demonstrate the very best in their work? They join with our founders and all those who've inspired us over the years. The Values in Action Award is the highest honor we give each year. As we've seen from those honorees, we're recognizing they really set the highest standard for all of us. And yet we know there are many other caregivers who are worthy of recognition. So I encourage you to take a moment, think of those caregivers who consistently go above and beyond. One of the things that is important in finding ways to celebrate our mission is to develop an approach that would identify caregivers who do just that. They are living out our mission and our values every day. And we wanted to create a program that would lift them up and celebrate them.
We were asked to take what was considered a best practice that was begun in 1988 in the St. Joseph Health System and spread it throughout Providence St. Joseph Health so that we could have one unified way of celebrating our caregivers who embody our values. We had the opportunity to identify what are the treasures that we bring with us coming together. And Values in Action was one of those treasures.
This year, there were over 7,000 caregivers who were nominated across our ministry.
One of the benefits that I've seen is that we're making examples of these people who are truly living out our values. I had the chance to read thousands of these nominations, and they're so incredibly inspiring. You look at it and you say, geez, that's who I want to work with, and that's what makes this organization different.
To me, what's most valuable is both the reflection around who lives our values and then the action to go ahead and nominate people who live our values.
There's a huge benefit in actually having that outlet to write a nomination. Just in reading the nominations, what I see is that people have a really profound impact on one another.
Catholic healthcare is rooted in the dignity of every person. This enables us to recognize each other's dignity, our unique gifts and contributions.
And most of all, it reminds us of the importance of celebration. It's critical that we take time to celebrate and to find moments of joy.
Something we say about legacy of the Sisters of Providence and the Sisters of St. Joseph of Orange is that those of us who are standing on their shoulders are figuratively hand in hand with them across the generations. And we tell their stories all the time to keep their legacy alive. These Values in Action nominations are just the latest stories.
You can nominate them now by going to providence.org/valuesinaction. With all the challenges we've faced over this past year, it's so reassuring to know that we remain steadfast to our mission and our values, and that they can be embodied in every caregiver. Thank you all for joining us today. Congratulations to our honorees and appreciation to all those who bring the communities we serve to healing and wholeness.
Hello, I'm Sister Barbara Chamber, the provincial leader of the Sisters of Providence, Mother Joseph Province. It's a great pleasure to be with you today to celebrate the recipients of the Values in Action Award this year. You certainly have lived and carried out the mission in very unique ways, and we thank God for your service and your ministry. We also congratulate Providence St. Joseph Health on the 5-year anniversary of our coming together. We know there will be many other challenges during the coming years, but the providence of God will be with us all. I'd like to give this closing blessing then, and may it travel with us wherever we go. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Providence of God, we thank you for all.